Okay, so today we're diving into one of the most, well, just one of the most haunting nightmares in all of literature. Franz Kafka's The Metamorphosis. Yeah, it's that wild, tragic story about a guy who wakes up one day as a giant insect. But here's the thing, the real horror, it's not really the bug part. It's what the story says about feeling alone, about family, and ultimately about what makes a person valuable. So let's get right into it.
I mean, this has got to be one of the most famous opening lines ever written, right? There's no warning, no easing you into it. Nope, Kafka just throws us, and poor Gregor, right into the deep end of this completely surreal nightmare. And believe me, from this point on, it only gets weirder.
So, let's talk about that transformation. The first part of the story is all about Gregor's first few moments dealing with this impossible new reality. But what's so fascinating, and honestly what gets to the real horror of the story, isn't the change itself. It's how he reacts to it.
And look, to really get why his reaction is so bizarre, you've got to understand his life before all this. Gregor was the only one bringing in money for his parents and his sister. He was stuck in this totally soul-crushing job as a traveling salesman, doing it all out of a sense of duty. You could almost say he was already trapped, you know? Living this life of just pure exhaustion and sacrifice long before he ever woke up with a shell and a bunch of extra legs.
And this right here, this is where we get to the central, kind of absurd irony of the whole story. Gregor's mind, it doesn't obsess over his new insect body. No, it's completely stuck on his old responsibilities.
I mean, just look at this disconnect. It's wild, right? His actual reality is something out of a horror movie, but his thoughts, they're totally normal. Every day. He's worried about his boss being mad, about the train schedule, about his family's money. What Kafka's getting at here is so powerful. Gregor's humanity was already being chipped away, worn down by the constant pressure of his job and his routine.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and move into the second part of the story. Now that Gregor is stuck in his room, the focus really moves over to his family. And what starts out as, shock and maybe a little concern, well, it pretty quickly sours into something a whole lot colder.
And this progression, wow, it's absolutely chilling to watch unfold. At first, his sister Greta, she really tries. She brings him food, she tries to take care of him. But as he becomes more and more of a burden, that pity just turns into resentment. And here's the key takeaway, the really brutal part. Their love was completely conditional. It was based entirely on him being useful, on him being the breadwinner. The second that's gone, he's not Gregor anymore, he's just it.
This scene, oh man, it is just unforgettable. In this fit of total rage, Gregor's dad starts throwing apples at him, and one of them actually gets stuck in his back. It's not just an emotional wound anymore, you see. It becomes this physical, festering symbol of his family's cruelty. It's a wound that literally never heals, and he carries it right up until his death.
So all of this is building up to the story's climax. This is the point where the family's quiet resentment, which has been simmering this whole time, just finally boils over. They make a final, explicit decision about what to do with Gregor.
And it happens in this really heartbreaking, beautiful scene. His sister, Great, is playing the violin, and Gregor, remembering how much he loved music, crawls out of his room just to listen. It's like his last-ditch effort to connect with his own humanity, to feel something again. But so tragically, it's this exact act that leads to his final downfall, because the family's tenants see him.
And there it is, the final nail in the coffin. It's his own sister, Great, the one person who ever showed him any care, who seals his fate. She completely denies his identity. She basically argues that if this thing were Gregor, he would have been decent enough to just go away on his own. I mean, can you imagine? It is the ultimate rejection.
So, completely broken, Gregor just goes back to his room and dies. And the family's reaction? Not grief, not sadness, relief, pure relief. They actually take a trip out to the countryside feeling totally liberated, and they're already making plans for their future, a future built on the fact that he's gone. It's this chilling, almost practical rebirth for them.
So you have to ask, right, why has this super strange, pretty depressing story stuck around for over 100 years? I think it's because Gregor's transformation is like a dark mirror. It reflects our own deepest fears and anxieties about who we are and where we actually belong in the world. At its core, the whole story is just this powerful allegory. Gregor turning into a bug on the outside, that's just a physical sign of the stuff so many people feel on the inside. The alienation, the absurdity, the dehumanization. And the idea that his family's love is based purely on his usefulness, not on any real compassion, well, that is a truly terrifying thought.
And because it's so packed with symbolism, you can look at this story in so many different ways. Is it about depression? Maybe. Is it a critique of capitalism, a system that just throws away workers when they're no longer useful? For sure. Could it be a reflection of Kafka's own messed up family life? Absolutely. The incredible thing is, the story is powerful enough to be all of those things at the same time.
And that, right there, is the question Kafka leaves us all chewing on. The Metamorphosis. It's not really just a story about a guy who turns into a bug. It's a deep, unsettling question about our own value. In a world that so often judges us by what we can do, what we can produce, what happens when we just can't anymore?